brakes, they got hot quick. For me, it was a little bit rough. There's gonna be some sacrifices.
Welcome back to episode 5 of HER Build Series, where we're about to test our E30 M3 CS on track for the very first time. After our run on the dyno, we got the car some fresh oil, and it was time for her track day shakedown. Our goal was to identify exactly which suspension adjustments would be needed to get the most out of the car. And if you want an expert diagnosis, you need an expert driver. For this, we went to the gentleman and the scholar, my friend, Tyler Brown. Tyler manages Riot Motorsports, which entails not only managing the team's operations, but also overseeing the engineering of over 40 race cars. This man has an enormous amount of knowledge about building track cars. So we tossed the keys over to Tyler and let him do his thing. Let's hear what he has to say. Turns out there were a lot of notes.
I'm excited to see how much range of adjustment we have in all the different, especially the shock settings and the front bar. Because I think that we can come up with something that's really fun on track, but doesn't take away from like the ethos of the car, right? Like it can't be like a shock you to death, knife edge thing. The ethos of the CS, that blend between the two middles.
And right now you're thinking it's more heavy on like playful street.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that everything's set much on the lighter side. The brakes, obviously the pad has its deficiencies out here. It's an easy pad to deal with, but they got hot quick.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even really
going.
Especially going into turn 1. I mean, I'm lifting, if there was a 10 board, that's where I would be lifting,
Yeah.
I came in because I smelled a little bit of what I think is something from driveline, gear oil. But it could just be left over somewhere, and it's the first time it actually got hot. But besides that, coolant temperature stayed really good. The brake pedal's really high. You're kind of kicking something that's dead, but then you're having to go much further past that. That in combination with the aggressive nature of the clutch kind of makes heel towing a little weird. But I think a combination of fiddling with the brake master a little bit, and maybe even something as simple as aftermarket pedal covers to be able to move the pad surface a little bit. Obviously that part depends heavily on your input, because you're the one that's going to be driving, so it's whatever you like. You might like that. For me, it was a little bit rough. It pulls super hard. Third gear corner exits, you have to squeeze it. If you go back to it a little bit too aggressively, she'll want to go. Yeah, but yeah, really solid base. I definitely feel like it needs a more precision look at ride height and geometry. I think it needs to be corner balanced. It does feel like turn-ins on low and medium speed left-handers are a lot sharper than those to the right. I think we have to look at what our available options are to tone down the delay in roll and how it sets, and see if we can do that in a way that doesn't take away from the street characteristics that you're looking for. There's going to be some sacrifices along the way. We'll look at a certain thing and we'll say, ideally we'd like to do that, but that will have an effect on this other thing that takes away from what our end goal is.
Yeah. So we can make some adjustments prior to race day.
Yeah, I'd love to see what chassis bushings are used. I get the inclination that it might be spherical mounted stuff in the front.
100% spherical.
Yeah,
and in the rear.
Again, back to kind of the whole idea and the ethos of the build. Might be a good idea to go away from those, because I don't know that they're gaining you anything, but a more compliant poly bushing on the street irons out the cracks, and all those little things.
So in a nutshell, the current suspension setup allowed for too much body roll. It favored left turns and was overall just kind of more street oriented than track oriented.
So we're gonna drive straight and then we're gonna be turning to the left.
With the diagnosis received from Tyler, it was time to send our E30 to Riot's very own car chiropractor, my boy, Jack. This is gonna be absolutely necessary to dial in our suspension geometry and alignment.
So today we are sitting down this beautiful E30 CS build. We've just sat it down on a complete level pad, and we got all the basic alignment information from it. Squared, it's drivable, but there's definitely some things wrong with it. First thing I'm seeing is these two values here, which is the front toe. The front wheels are pointed in towards each other like a pizza on skis, which generally on a performance setup you will never see toe in the front in any form whatsoever. That would definitely heat up the tire very quickly and would not have a nice or easy turn in. And then the rear toe is at 0, which it's fine, it's close to factory, but A little bit of toe in the back would give it a little bit more stability in the straight and under braking. The crossweight's a little bit off. So basically, you have 4 corners of the car touching the ground and sitting in a static position with a driver in it. You'll kind of get a sensation or an imbalance like a table that's a little bit tilting. Getting into track stuff, for example, the front camber, 2.6 degrees and 2.5 degrees. It'll give you a decent front end, but numbers up towards 3, a little bit higher than 3. Definitely would increase the front grip. Looking at these, I can tell you the car will understeer initially. The car will have a lot of body roll. There's a lot of things that you will feel on the track that you will not feel on the street, especially handling wise. But yeah, we'll make some tweaks and go from there. We have the sway bar end link. This link is adjustable and looks like it was just thrown on. They are adjustable for a reason. When the car is sitting on the ground, you do not want tension up or down, essentially preloading the bar. So we're gonna unjam it, and we go down, we'll find where there's no tension pulling up or pulling down. There's some disciplines in motorsport where preloading your bar is useful, but in a road course setting, neutral and released is where we wanna be. This trailing arm link here, it is adjustable, and I'm shortening that will increase toe in, and we just need to get a little bit extra from where it has. To set up this car, we're using these adjustable scale pads. There's a scale pad inside the stand, and then the stand is adjustable. The adjustability allows me to make it a perfectly level surface, so when you set the car down, there's no variables, it's perfectly level and all the data is correct. I also have the tires at 33 PSI, which is approximate hot pressure for what the car will be on track. So it's trying to simulate where we're going to be on track and finding the most optimum static alignment specs for what we're going to be going for. The slowest but best way to align a car, create a perfect box with fishing line around the wheels. From the inside of the wheel to the string is an equal distance on both sides, front and rear. I'm able to measure from the front of the wheel and then to the back of the wheel, and then the difference in number is my toe value. May have been an estimated guess, but that's exactly where I wanted it. Exactly 1 millimeter of toe in. Essentially the idea is kind of like when you go pizza on your skis, it's kind of driving towards center, so putting power down, it'll kind of drive towards center. It won't want to kick out as easily. Same thing mid-corner, it'll try to hold the car at center, and then under braking it'll also help stability so you're not wobbling around under heavy braking and stuff. It's not a lot of toe, but it's enough to feel it and be in the right direction. Usually I use this bar, and then it's just a little bubble gauge giving me degrees of camber. So that reduced by 0.2 of a degree, which is, I think that's what I was going for. So I'm going to add a little bit more camber, as these really nice ground control top hats. Sliding the shock tower that way will give me a little bit more camber, but I need to loosen these to allow me to actually get access to these adjuster bolts. But luckily, ground control is awesome, and they have caster adjustment built into the top as well, so it should slide over. This is going to be tricky. Yeah, I just need to get to that back bolt, and it's gonna be tricky without ruining it. The toe link doesn't move, but the camber does, so I visually have a good amount of toe out there now. So this is at 3.1 degrees. I think that is perfect. Perfect place to start. That is perfectly zeroed toe, so we'll just need to correct the toe a little bit. We'll need to go up and add a little bit more over there. Made it to 0 toe. And we made it to 3.3 degrees of camber. It is not square to the left side, but I think it'll benefit on UMC. Yeah, now let's go for toe. I'm going to lengthen the tie rod without completely destroying the rack boot. That's exactly 1 out. This is a longer measurement to the wheel. This is a shorter measurement to the wheel by 1 millimeter. It's done. Absolutely perfect. It went up a tiny bit, but we're going to leave it. It's going to be quick. So I just completed camber and toe. We added a little bit of toe in the back and did not touch the camber. We increased the front camber by about 0.5 degree and then squared up the toe. And it's going from toe in to just a slight amount of toe out. With the added camber, we should have an increased tire contact patch on the ground mid-corner. On going down the street and taking your turn at the light, you're never gonna tip the car over as much to use the whole contact patch, but as we go onto the track, we're going to be trying to tip this thing over, and as we lean over, the contact patch should be fairly even with the ground. We went from a little bit of toe in to a little bit of toe out. It should sharpen up the initial turn in, and it should feel more consistent through a full entrance, mid-corner and exit of the corner. It should feel more stable and more predictable. Before doing anything, we sat the car down and we got the cross weights and the corner weights. We want to be about 50%. This is with a driver, so without a driver, we're at 51. I can see we're a little bit heavy on the right front. These are pretty close and acceptable, but if I sit in the car, it should square up pretty nicely. Steering wheel straight. Oh yeah, with a driver, 50.6% of cross weight, and now we're a little bit heavy on the left rear. So you'd think, for example, lowering this corner of the suspension would add more weight, but it's quite the opposite. So with me in the car, I'm just gonna give it a half turn of right height in the right rear, which will add a little bit of weight and make the weights a little bit more even side to side. Give it a half turn in the right rear up, and it's already improved without me in the car. Yep, 50.2. Wash my mitts and go for a drive. Tracking nice and straight so far. Not pulling to the left or right. Not twisting or binding differently left or right. Yeah, so far so good. Gearing super short. That's interesting. Returns to center nicely. Maybe a little bit of a pull for the boys. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I think we're ready for a track test.
So with the car done, the engine broken in, and the suspension calibrated, it was time for the inevitable. The final battle between the most powerful M3 BMW that has ever been made and our glorious E30 CS.
It almost feels like no throttle in front.
Hopefully it's a quick fix.
Guys, I am extremely proud of this build behind me. And I'm also very grateful to everyone who has helped along this journey. We've made a lot of really amazing friends and had a lot of amazing partners as well. And up until now, everything about this car has been calculated speculation with upgrades that should do this or upgrades that should do that. But now we get to prove all of this on track. It's been a long time coming. And so thank you to everyone for liking and watching these videos, sharing your comments, giving your insights. It means the world to me. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the finale, and I will see you guys on the track.